Return of the Revenge of the Dev stream. Now, where did we leave off? I think in the 5 minutes after the last stream, I had a brainwave and I did a fix, and I honestly can't remember whether it fixed the bug we were after in the last stream. So, guess I'm gonna find out now. Yes. Okay. LGTM, LGTM. We go like that. It doesn't show all the other stuff, but we can log into something. LGTM. And if I already am logged into something, that when I click, it'll just be logged into that. Yes. And if I'm not already logged into something, then when I join, it will ask me what to do. And now, let's see if this goes through the whole process all goodly-like. I have a paltry 6.6 terabytes available. How nothingy. Just gonna cause some data. That's done. Download. And that did not pick up the video. That's no good. So why didn't this pick up the video? User activation is required. Of course user activation is required. That's useless. Wait, let me just put this back where it belongs rather than getting rid of it entirely. Think. You did the right thing here. And this should be the same interface as this. Like, it just connects to that. Very annoying. So is that within this? Oh, of course. What it's supposed to do... Oh, did it throw in... Wait. Failed to execute... Wow, I couldn't even execute... Oh, well, okay. Wait. Need transient. DHTR. It's a barrier promise. So this should report that it needs transient activation, but I presumably botched something. This is botched. I'm supposed to... Wait, which way does... Because this is... I just resolved the promise and then immediately waited for it. And obviously, if I wait for a promise I just resolved, it's going to be resolved. I'm supposed to wait for the promise. No, because this promise is when I have reached the point that I need transient activation. How do these work? Yeah, these should not be the same, that's all. So I have transient request, transient continue. I should be waiting on transient continue, but somehow I just got utterly busted and waited on transient request. And then it should be going over the transient continues when it actually checks that it needs transient activation. So that's probably that. Okay. It's possible, I would even say probable, that I simply, yeah, the fact that this now isn't drawing over itself, probable that I just didn't test this yet with file system directory handles. I had only tested it with per se cloud storage. That's molto bad. I don't know what I can do with that. It'll work here, but it's not going to work here. I'm not allowed to request permissions in this context. How rude. So what this is an iframe is not allowed to request permission for a file system directory handle. So if I request permission separately, so I might just sort of cached have permissions, then what happens here? Interesting. So I can't request permission within an iframe, but I can inherit permission. Can I send the file system directory handle to the host, have it request permissions, and then send it back again? That sounds, at best, like a terrible idea. Well, so long as I'm at it, let me check whether it at least works. That clearly did not work because it complained. Probably not ideal that I've got a random console.log floating around. Wait, that's right. This is... We've gone full circle. This is an error that I had... I needed to go all the way back to libavjs to fix. And I have actually fixed it, but I haven't bumped to the latest version, I think. I guess I can verify that rather than just sort of decreeing it. Yep, 6371 is not new enough. I need 6471. And I doubt that I have... Oh, wow, I don't have it built at all. I was just going to say I doubt that I have it built with... for ECDL, but apparently I don't have it built whatsoever. Okay, in the background I'm going to have to start that building, otherwise it's not going to work. But, a complete sentence, period. Web assets libav configuration, make that configuration. Let me check that I'm actually on the release. Yes, I am. Maybe actually have the SDK. Okay, unfortunately that's going to take a while, so what do I do while that's happening? Well, so that error only comes up when you do a multi-download, so let me just not. There we go. Looks good to me. Okay, so setting aside that problem that needs a new libav version, major problem that I can't actually log in that way. Man, that lack of request permission, that is severe. Damn it, I wish I could, like, explicitly make it get rid of that permission so that I can, yeah, the problem is if I turn this off, I don't know, like, I think that it might, what? 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 That was not what I expected it to just work anyway. Is it because it's actually this site and that display doesn't actually do the right thing? Like if I turn off file editing here, then it just works anyway. Cool, so that just doesn't work. Good job, Chrome. 10 out of 10 work. You can change the setting all you want. It's not going to do anything. So I'm just going to have to wait for that to expire to be able to actually test that. Let me check on the build. It isn't like that long. Yeah, it's done. Going to go ahead and upload that. HTML, assets, libav. Upload, upload, upload. Okay, I need to turn on the AC. Apologies for any background sounds you might hear. It's beginning to be winter, therefore I need the air conditioning. You heard me. Hello, Joey. Welcome. Okay, so now I can swivelly swap this up to the latest version. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this version will actually handle this correctly. This, namely. Just for giggles, I'm also going to ask for MPEG-4 AAC. So that hopefully I will get a .mp4 file and it will actually even work. I should at least have the console open just in case it fails, like it did. Same error. That is deeply concerning. I mean, I didn't test it in situ. I only tested it with a test I created, so I don't actually, like, I don't have proof positive that that fixed the problem. I just assumed it would, because of course it would. You know what? We're gonna do this the lame way. Think. Think harder. I should probably centralize this. So long as I'm at it, I'm going to centralize the writing side as well. Right now, that is implemented in Muxers, but I can easily have that not be in Muxers. on top of that, I'm making quite a brutal fix to this problem, and there's no guarantee that I'm actually fixing the problem when I think about it. Given that that update should have fixed it anyway, I don't know why I'm so confident here. Getting downright cocky for something that's probably not going to work. Video timer and muxer on the other side. I declared fresh name to be async, but it's not. The hell? Hello? Cool, thanks. Oh, cool, it's Git, there it's Git. It's Vim itself that's busted, just as it should be. Maybe I shouldn't figure out what I'm about to kill before I kill it. No, don't kill that. That has nothing to do with it. Okay, I have no idea what the hell just happened there. Delete that leftover. What? Did I not export that type? I did not export that type. This is not async. That's the one. Okay. If this fixes it, then unfortunately that means that I didn't fix it before. The fix I did upstream didn't actually fix it, so I almost hope this doesn't fix it. Okay, LGTM. God damn it. Interesting. I can't seek in this file, at least not in this player. I wonder if mplayer will be able to do it. I wonder if I have mplayer installed. I wonder if I have... The only player I have installed is mfplay. I do digital media. Yeah, but fuck it, though. Okay, so that does work. I'm sort of unhappy with that as a solution, but I'm actually not that fussed about it. Okay, I've got console logs lying around. Need to get rid of those. Oh, I've also got some... In fact, this is not great. Yeah, that ain't right. Well, I bet that's in the decoder. Get rid of all of this debugging crap I've left lying around. I'll do that with diff. Okay. Yeah. Just occurred to me, it's been quite a while, and it still can access the directory. That's quite annoying. That's going to be really hard to test. Oh no. How do I test that? If I close the browser entirely, surely that'll start a new session, and then I'll have to re-up any permissions, right? No way that it has permission through that. Yeah, okay, good. So, it is time for us to approach an implacable problem here. Placable or not, we're just going to have to plaque it. You heard. Okay. So... the problem is that while this does need transient activation, its needs are far more severe than that. File system directory handles are transferable, I think. Actually, I need to look up transferable. It has the list of things that are transferable. No. Oh, no! Oh, may not be exhausted. File. Also, it wouldn't be listed as file system directory handle. It would be listed as whatever its root type is. File system directory handle. I love writing that out. No hint of it being transferable here. We know that it can be saved. Well, maybe it doesn't need maybe it's not. It does not need to be transferable because it can just be sent. I am molto concerned. So I can send along with the transient activation request. I guess it... Yeah, it's not about transient activation, is it? Not per se. Well, but that much is fine. Man. Okay, I guess, yeah, I'm gonna send it along with this, even though that only quasi makes sense. My hope is that if I send it this way, since I'm not transferring it, if I get permission on the one side, I will inherit that permission on the other side, because it is the same browsing context, even if it is not the same per se site or origin. But what I suspect is that it's just going to say you can't send that. Permission denied. You can't post this directory handle to a different origin. And when it says that, I cry a lot. My solution to that problem is to cry a lot. Make sure we hard refresh this page just so that it's definitely the right information. And it's actually the download chooser that's going to be doing the hard problems here. This is not an asynchronous event handler, but it could be. If if it has a file system directory handle, then we're going to deal with that first. I, of course, don't remember how to do any of this. Dot request permission. You know what? Here's how you do it. Da 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 da. Granted, right? Yeah. Actually, you know what? It doesn't really matter, because a human interacts with it to do that, and so if the human refused it, then they know what they just did, and they've refused it. Oh, I didn't rebuild after removing those dev logs. Okay, let's see where we stand. This seems pretty much as bad as it could be. Yeah, that was just the timeout getting any sort of communication from it. I think what just happened there is that you can't send a file system directory handle. The question is, why was the net result of that absolutely no message on the console? I would have assumed that it would have said, like it would have given a message on the console that says you can't send this, rather than just nothing, just radio silence. How about if I load it here? Really? Am I accidentally suppressing that error elsewhere? The one thing that makes me think you might be able to post it is that you can save it to local storage. So if you can save it, that means it can be transferred in sort of surprising ways. But probably not this one, because this is like exactly the thing you would want to make sure doesn't happen. Is this all in a try-catch or something? No. I am concerned because I would have expected just anything to happen here. Best case scenario, this says undefined. I literally have no clue why I'm doing this. Just logging that makes no sense, but I guess that'll confirm that it got to that point. So that's good. Hard to refresh this first to make sure it's the latest version. That undefined is what I want to... Oh, it actually did load the latest version. So it It at least tried. It tried to send it. It didn't succeed somehow. I'm just going to leave that running. It doesn't actually matter. So maybe the problem is on this end? The very first thing I did was resolve the communication promise, so this shouldn't have been the result one way or the other. It would be so bizarre for post message to just... I mean, so even if it is a security concern, post message would still throw an error. It wouldn't just swallow it. It wouldn't just like, yeah, sure, I set that message for you. Whatever you want. Post message does not lie. And yet... make it something I definitely can send. I mean, worst case scenario, I can do a horrendous, like, redirect style, where this page detects that you need that permission, redirects you to that page, you log in, and then redirect back to this page. I really don't want to do that, but if that's the only way to make it work, then that's the only way to make it work. Or I can make a pop-up flow for that. That's an interesting thought. Making that a pop-up flow is actually a fascinating thought. Yeah, obviously. True.request permission. Yeah, okay. So it won't work that way. Fine. So do I make it... I'm going to make it a pop-up flow. I think that's the only way that I can do this. So how do I make this? What is the best way for me to make this a pop-up flow? What's very interesting to me is that the cloud cases are a pop-up flow anyway, but they're just doing that sort of implicitly. Maybe I can make it implicit here as well. Like this. Yeah, if I had... This is so complicated. Okay, one step at a time. One step at a time. So first of all, I want this to be a more linear flow. So I'll say that if that equals granted, then we'll just return. So all of this isn't under the if. fsdhtr.res. Yeah, it's going to do that anyway because that's under finally, so don't need this. Otherwise, it does need transient activation. Now this can fail for unrelated reasons. Okay, so it throws an exception. That's actually okay. But if it's not granted, then that means it just wasn't granted, so we return. That's not confusing in the slightest. And then if we needed the pop-up flow, that is not at all the right thing to use, but it'll do for the time being. I think that's already a string. Pop up, and I have so much other to fix there. Since that is a pop-up, it is its own window, and so it shouldn't end up back in this flow, I hope. So this is not the way to do this, but it's the way I'm going to do this for right now. Who needs any sort of reasonable restrictions on line length? Check it 4 times a second. If we didn't get a pop-up, then this didn't work. Okay. Again, I repeat, this is not the correct way to do this. This is not a good way to do this, but it might be sort of step 1 to making a barely adequate way to do this. Now, obviously, I would want this to close itself, but it did work. Okay. Yep. That really sucks. I can make it less stupid than that, but only a little bit less. get rid of that console log. This is I have never been like twice. I have just had to fix stupid issues with things you can and can't do in iframes and can and can't do in pop-up windows, Joey. This is like, it is really dogging me. I want the OAuth2 code, which isn't even there somehow. Dot search params dot set close to 1. String. I guess I can just do this. Dot has close, then window dot close. I can add other parameters later. There's actually another parameter I wanted to add, which is just to tell it that it's in an iframe so it knows not to display the local user interface, just because it is visible ever so briefly and it looks a bit doofusy. Have to apparently close the browser in order to lose that permission, so let's make sure that, yep, that pops up. I don't have that permission. Wait an eternity for this to build. Make sure we've got the latest version. I'm not at all sure why the window size is wrong. In fact, no part of that worked. Wait, what? I'm unsure how it failed quite that spectacularly. I guess it's possible that I had something cached in one context that wasn't cached in another or something. I don't see how both setting the size and setting it to close could both have failed. Yeah, okay. That was just some weird caching behavior. Ugh, I don't even like the fact that this URL is here. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Ugh! Oh, it's even worse. I hate everything. And there's no way for this to detect if you close the window, so this is just stuck in that case, and it's all so bad. It's all so bad. Oh no. Let's just make it square. I think square ought to be adequate. I'll just leave that be. This is, I think, I guess I wouldn't call it the right flow, but a necessary, unavoidable flow. And so okay, one thing to be clear about, this is quite an advanced use case, and so people who are doing it this way are generally not going to be that fussed about a little bit of weirdness, but it is definitely too weird right now. Why is this a different dialogue? That's so bizarre. Same request, different dialogue. Oh, good, and it also failed. Why? So 2 minutes ago, that correctly transferred that permission from the window back to the iframe. And now it just doesn't? That just doesn't work anymore? That worked 2 minutes ago, but now it doesn't? Is it because it closed? Please tell me it's not because it closed. Does it need to, like, wait for the permission to really sit? It can't. It can't be because it closed. It can't. It can't be because... I refuse. I won't accept the premise that the reason this is happening is because the window closed. I'm checking it. I'm testing that theory. But I also refuse it. Make sure that I've force refreshed it. And it's this dialogue again. What is happening? But now I don't know, like, is that because it was that dialogue? Or is it, why did it use a different dialogue? It's the same code. Like, what is the distinction in meaning between those two dialogues? It should be impossible that it shows a different dialogue when it's in a window that's going to close. That's like predicting the future. Since I know you're going to close this window, oh, just solve the halting problem real quick, like, thanks. Interesting. So what caused it to show that other... Oh. Is it because I, like, refused it before and it got angry at me? So, like, the first time, I just closed this window. Oh. How interesting. I'm glad I noticed that, because I would have never noticed that bit of Chrome misbehavior otherwise. I'm betting. Okay. Okay. I think I know exactly what that is. God. Force FSDH. So force it to actually request rather than just me ever finishing this sentence. Rather than just querying it and detecting that it's sort of already okay. Like it could, because query is an interactive process. Okay. Wait, but I know that that's not the case, because it did show the login screen. So I know that that's not what's happening. This is a file system handle, request permission. That's it. It's the only thing there, mode. That's really bad. Chrome has two flows, one of which works and one of which doesn't. Yeah, it would have never said log in if this was the problem. So this is not the problem. I mean, how much does the problem have to be Chrome is just busted before it's okay to go, you know what, Chrome is just busted? See, like, this time it's going to work. No, this time it didn't work! I understand nothing. I mean, is it conceivable that it is a timing thing? Like, maybe it does have to do with close, and it's just like race condition. Oh, I wonder if, oh, there's an interesting theory. Maybe whether, oh, it's like a reference counting thing. Like, whether you have permissions is just a reference count across all pages. When that reference count reaches 0, you lose permissions. So if you pop something up and it gets permission, that goes to 1. Then if you query it elsewhere, it goes to 2 because that other place has gotten permission. But if the pop-up closed first, then it would have gone to 0. This is like totally undocumented. Like, even best case scenario, this is completely undocumented. Because this is very new features within Chrome. and only in Chrome for the time being. So, not closing this time, and it works. It would make almost too much sense for it to be a race condition like that. So I'm going to check way more frequently, like offensively more frequently. And then I'm going to have this close after a second. Right now that'll be really gross because it's still going to show the local user interface, but you know, whatever. If my theory is correct, if my theory is correct, then this will work, but it will show an ugly, stupid, terrible user interface for a second while it's working. This is going to be the last thing I do today. Sure that I have the latest version loaded. Caching is hell. I think that's definitely it. I think there's just like a reference count, which that's the way. That's how all file system things are implemented. It's a reference count. That's how file systems work. Okay. But so that's a solvable problem. It's the interface is going to be a bit ugly. Such is life. I could move that aspect of the interface into non-local forage instead of having it be owned by the file system, but that feels that's like a very rarefied situation for me to be worrying that much about. Let me make sure this actually downloads. I'm going to download with raw PCM audio, just for giggles. LGTM. SGTM. That sounds good to me. Okay. So, yeah, I'm cracking down on these user interface issues. So, ever closer to having this in a releasable state. Like I said, it's just those user interface issues left. And that was one of them, and we just fixed. Stream over.